What's up, guys? Welcome to the Outer Nexus. Tonight, we're going to be talking about NASA's new leadership and their new direction, their new mission, their reprioritization, new technology that they might be trying to unlock to make all this happen. And then we'll get into Katy Perry riding Blue Origin at the end there. But first, we're going to check out this really big chunk of video from C-SPAN. I know it's a lot, but you really got to watch the whole thing to really understand the context here. It's gonna be about 5 minutes.
Thank you, Senator Shee, for the very generous introduction. Thank you, Chairman Cruz, Ranking Member Cantwell, distinguished members of the committee. I'm honored and very grateful to be here before you today as President Donald Trump's nominee to lead the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. I've lived the American dream, and I owe this nation a great debt. I would happily serve President Trump in any capacity, but to work alongside the people that have expanded the boundaries of exploration and brought humanity closer to the stars would be the privilege of a lifetime. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge my crewmates, as you did earlier, Senator, along with my wife, Monica, and my two wonderful daughters that are sitting behind me, Mila and Lib. I do recognize I am a newcomer, so I thought I would share a bit about my story, along with my understanding of the challenges and the opportunities that lie ahead. I am an entrepreneur, and my journey began when I took a risk and left school at age 16 to build a company in my parents' basement. Despite my unconventional start, I found success very early in life and led my company into a multi-billion-dollar enterprise that employs thousands. I'm a pilot with an aeronautics degree. Over the last 20 years, I've flown over 7,000 hours in jets and ex-military aircraft, setting world records and performing in air shows. My passion for aviation also led me to start another company, this time a defense aerospace business. As a company, we operated the world's largest private air force. Our job was to fly fighter jets as adversaries, executing enemy tactics and training American warfighters. We managed hundreds of millions in defense contracts and saved taxpayers billions along the way. I'm also an astronaut. Alongside a talented team, I led 2 record-breaking missions to space. On my last mission, we tested a new spacesuit while performing a spacewalk and orbited farther away from Earth than any human has gone since the last time Americans walked on the moon. Along the way, my 2 crewmates, Sarah Gillis and Anna Menon, became the women who have journeyed farthest from Earth ever. I'm an advocate for science. During these missions to space, my crew and I performed approximately 50 science and research experiments. I've also publicly supported the Chandra X-ray Observatory and offered to fund a mission to extend the life and capabilities of the Hubble Space Telescope. I care about the people back at home and our collective future here on Earth. My space career did not burden the taxpayers. They were privately funded and aimed at inspiring and helping people all over the world. One example is the over $250 million we raised to support St. Jude Children's Research Hospital and their critical work to ensure no child dies in the dawn of life. Alongside these efforts, I personally donated hundreds of millions of dollars to charitable endeavors. I share all this because I am not a typical nominee for this position. I've been relatively apolitical. I am not a scientist. I never worked at NASA. I do not think these are weaknesses. In fact, I believe President Trump found them to be strengths. And if confirmed, I will bring all my experience to the greatest adventure in human history, the quest to discover the secrets of the universe. On that note, NASA is the most accomplished and respected space agency in the world, but for all NASA's historic achievement, the agency is not without challenges. Presidents have called for a return to the moon and a path to Mars since 1989, and well over $100 billion has been spent without the intended results. Most programs, new telescopes, rovers, X-planes, entire spaceships, are over budget and behind schedule. And this is discouraging because when people look up at the stars and wonder what is out there, they want those answers today and not decades down the road. And I know it is not lost on members of this committee that we have geopolitical rivals moving at impressive speeds. It's imperative for our national security, our pride, and all that we stand to gain in exploration that we never come in second place. If confirmed, and with the support and guidance of President Trump and members of Congress, we will reinvigorate a mission-first culture at NASA with the following objectives. First, American astronauts will lead the way in the ultimate high ground of space. As the President stated, we will prioritize sending American astronauts to Mars, and along the way, we will inevitably have the capability to return to the moon and determine the scientific, economic, and national security benefits for maintaining a presence on the lunar surface. We will focus our technology development efforts on the world's greatest engineering challenges, such as the practical application of nuclear propulsion, so we can truly unlock humankind's ability to explore among the stars. Second, we will ignite a thriving space economy in low Earth orbit. By working alongside international partners and industry, we can unlock the true economic potential of space and deliver meaningful benefits to the American people, potentially even charting a course for NASA to become a financially self-sustaining agency. Number 3, NASA will be a force multiplier for science. We will leverage NASA's scientific talent and capabilities to enable academic institutions and industry to increase the rate of world-changing discoveries. We will launch more telescopes, more probes, more rovers, and endeavor to better understand our planet and the universe beyond. If confirmed, I will work alongside and recruit the most talented minds this nation has to offer, and we will concentrate our resources towards achieving the near impossible, the objectives that no other agency, company, or institution is capable of accomplishing. We will do so, knowing the risks and the groundbreaking opportunities that lie ahead, because some risks, like exploring the world beyond ours, are worth taking. We will do this not just to expand our knowledge or strengthen our national security, but to improve all life here on Earth and inspire the next generation to reach even further. This is why America needs NASA, why the world needs NASA, because there is no more important investment than inspiring our children to build a better and more exciting future. And the best way NASA can do that is by delivering on our mission and ushering in a new golden age of science and discovery.
So what that really needed was the Halo music playing in the background, because he doesn't bring it up there, but at some point he brings up the fact that Trump told him that he needs to get boots on Mars by the end of the term. That is the goal. is for that to happen. Is humans on Mars by the end of the term? What, like 2028? Is that what it is?
His presidential term?
Yeah, 20.
Yeah.
Is that 2028? Yeah,
2020, yeah.
yeah, something like that. So it's the things that the kind of changes that he will be introducing to NASA are going to be very necessary and very dramatic. It's like a hard shift into, this bureaucratic agency into something that's trying to get humans on other planets now. A big argument here was, one of the people kept asking him over and over again, "You're not going to shut down these 10 big buildings full of office workers, are you?" And he was kind of dodging it a little bit because, the fact of the matter is, and he brings it up, that the Artemis mission is already a year late.
Yeah.
It's already a year late. So what is NASA doing?
Well, if you're saying you're not going to shut down this building, these buildings full of workers, it's near impossible to say yes or no.
Yeah.
It's we're going to look at each of the projects and programs that we're doing, and yes, some of them will be gone.
Yeah.
But to say all of them, no.
No, and that's not what that meant.
Yeah.
It was more like he's going to be trimming the fat here. This dude is not much older than we are. I think he might be 38. He might be in his 40s. But he's already an astronaut. I forgot that he did this, is he ran that company that was the largest private air force in the world. It was for test fighting.
Yeah.
For test dog fighting.
Yeah.
Against the military, which is pretty wild. I mean, see, the thing is, you do need a kind of highly unique individual to pull something like this off. And he is a billionaire. And that's a little bit of an issue. That's a problem, that the billionaires get to do this kind of stuff first. But I don't know if there's any other real way around that.
Well, what you're looking for is qualifications.
Yeah.
And generally when you're, who was successful among the qualified candidates,
Yeah.
Billionaire stands out pretty well.
Especially with his experience.
Yeah. I don't necessarily always agree with that.
Yeah.
But this gentleman does seem to be pretty experienced and
Highly qualified.
So I don't have the thing is, I don't have a problem with someone who's experienced and doesn't have money. I don't have a problem so much with people that have experience and have money.
Mhm.
It's just, I hope that money isn't the only thing that they have.
Yeah.
And it is very clear that that's not all.
That's not the case. It doesn't seem to be the case here. He brings up that most of his money, he gives it to charity at this point, because his focus is on space and this kind of stuff and making sure that this happens, and he brings up that it's imperative to begin building space infrastructure because other countries are just going to start doing it. It's the same thing that we've been saying.
Well, one of the things
get on this,
I really liked that he said
Yeah.
is, and it's true. I hate to say, it's space race again, but
Yeah.
we can't be second.
No.
Yeah.
And we can't be second. And the other aspect of this, which I think is really important to really, really understand about all this and why he brought it up, is all of this was privately funded by all the things that he's done in space have been privately funded by him. Obviously, probably with assistance from NASA, but there's been almost no taxpayer money diverted to his space endeavors. And it seems like one of the biggest arguments every single time. Oh man, every single time. I'm going to pull up that CNBC, Katy Perry. Let me read this article in space. Let me see. Yeah, I think this is it. Where it's basically an entire article. Here we go. This is it. Yeah. The entire article is about, these damn rich people going into space and how all this money could be diverted for healthcare and Social Security and all these things. And these people shouldn't just be, these rich people shouldn't just be fucking around in space. But that's not what's happening at all. These are private endeavors to set up infrastructure that will be useful to the American people in the future, like Starlink. As soon as Starlink was basically invented, it literally became a global conflict of who gets to use it.
Yeah.
That's how important space technology is. Like, as soon as it's up, it's like it's the most important thing.
Yeah, and for this, like you said, it's. I mean, obviously, you use Katy Perry. It's a
Yeah,
it's a
We'll
media,
get into
it's a
that.
media show, and we'll get
Yeah.
into that.
yeah. But yeah. So the other thing that he brought up, well, let's get into this, is that because this is the plan for, and this is, I think this is really important. He's going to be basically unlocking NASA so that private industry, commercial industry can start utilizing all of their programs, all of their systems. And this has been so necessary. This has been critical. This is because it just started happening in the late 2000s, early 2010s. NASA was almost dead in the water. They were just renting out their launch pads to SpaceX. This is functionally, they were like a failing bureaucracy that was just managing space real estate.
The thing is, you can almost say that even still.
Yes.
And there's a lot of reasons you could say that, but the
Mm.
main reason, and he did bring it up, is not that you wouldn't put money into NASA
Yeah.
as a taxpayer.
Mm.
It's that we would hope, because it's like, oh, you guys did all of the prerequisite work, like we got someone to the moon. We've set up, the ISS was done. All of these different things were done.
Yeah.
It's like, now make it available so that it's so you can generate profits off
So you
of
can
it.
do stuff with
So
it.
you can do stuff with it.
Yeah. So it's not just a research. Right? Research is great. Don't get me wrong. But NASA coming out with articles about probes and microbes, nobody cares. Nobody
What-
cares. People want other people on other planets.
Well-
That's what they want to see out of NASA.
And one of the things he mentioned, and it's the big one, is to become to make profit.
Yes.
Like, it should generate profit.
It should be self-sustaining.
Yes. And once you get to that point, it's like DAX is doing really well. Like,
Yeah.
if you can get it to
That's the crazy thing about this that people don't understand. If you can make NASA, if you could get the ball rolling for NASA to be profitable, it's going to be really fucking profitable. Like, super self-sustaining kind of profitable. So I think it's really interesting that NASA just came out with this commercial crew program press kit, which is great. I think that just came out today. We're going to look at this. So is a new model. NASA's commercial crew program is the first time the current commercial model has been implemented at the agency. National investment. NASA, Boeing, SpaceX, with the help of contractors throughout America, have dedicated countless hours to the agency's commercial crew program to achieve a common goal: restore our nation's ability to launch humans to the International Space Station from American soil. This government-private industry partnership has significant economic benefits, with more than 1,000 suppliers employing workers in all 50 states to support commercial crew spacecraft systems. And that's the other angle of this. When we bring manufacturing back, we can use all of that high-tech manufacturing to support an entire space economy. People think along these lines of, oh, the manufacturing's gone away, it's never going to come back. The fact of the matter is, we need super high-tech manufacturing that can only really be done here on American soil to support stuff like this. Contractors apply the most efficient and innovative approaches to launch astronauts back into low Earth orbit on American-made spacecraft and rockets. Commercial crew timeline. In the 2010s, 2010, NASA invests about $50 million for commercial crew development to stimulate efforts within the private sector. And you have these companies, Blue Origin, we'll get into that, Boeing, obviously. These guys who had never heard of: Paragon Space Development Corporation, Sierra Nevada Corporation, United Launch Alliance. I have heard of them. 2011, NASA develops partnerships with industry through commercial crew development round 2 by awarding. See, this is past stuff. It's just kind of the same things.
Well, I think one of the things that they're showing here is like
This is when
They-
it's possible now.
No, that they were like they're taking these large chunks of taxpayer money
Okay.
and they're just like putting it out there,
Yeah.
and you got big corporations involved, like you have Boeing and SpaceX later on,
Yeah.
and like you have these big but besides like SpaceX, and I mean you can argue for some of the others as well, but
Yeah.
it's like the people, the American people don't have much to show for it.
Yes.
And I think that's what he's trying to get around to, is like, we're going to start having things to show for this.
Yeah, and that really is the most critical part of this, and it should be the focus, is getting humans to other planets, because like I keep bringing up, Biden designated time zones on the moon. Nokia is building 5G towers on the moon. They're going to. They have full, intentions of building a lunar moon base, and that's what they get into in that confirmation hearing. Is that was the big controversy at that hearing, is the alleged, we're gonna prioritize Mars over the moon, when Jared basically said, no, we're gonna do both. This agency can do both at the same time. We have the full capacity to do it. We just need to optimize it towards that direction. We can totally do it. We can totally do the moon and Mars at the same time, and we should be doing it. And now, what he also brought up is nuclear propulsion. And I'm just going to keep bringing this up because I really do think this is some of the most important technology that we are potentially developing today. Pulsar Fusion over in Britain is developing their own version called the Sunbird. And it's this thing. Hold on, let me pull this up. All right, let's see. So the way that it works, let's see, is the design is very sober and straightforward. A plasma bath feed by a mix of deuterium helium gases generates accelerating protons, which are sent to the rocket nozzle by strong magnetic fields. The rocket has a high specific impulse between 10,000 to 15,000 pulses, with a maximum of 100% Newton force, equivalent to 2 milliwatts of power. Megawatts of power. The prototype is on schedule to be tested this year, targeting the maiden launch in 2027. And let's see if we can pull this bad boy on their own website. See, do they show it? Looks like they don't really show it. Huh.
Hold on.
Yeah, you look. Oh, yeah, play the video. Yeah, here we go. This thing is wild. It's pretty hard to keep it together when I see something like that, because it's like something from fucking Star Trek, dude. It's literally a fucking Star Trek nacelle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, it's
Like, that's
it's
what it
the
is.
it's the beginning.
It's the beginning. It's
Yeah.
like watching, it's like being at the front at the beginning of Enterprise.
Yeah. And just for those that weren't sure what was in that video, basically,
Yeah.
there was a satellite above Earth that had a bunch of these sunbirds attached to it.
Mhm.
One attaches itself to the payload that we want to take to Mars, and it basically thrusts the entire time all the way over to Mars. It cuts down the travel time significantly, and you don't need fuel for the original one.
Yeah.
And that saves a lot.
It saves so much.
And then the other thing is, when it got close to Mars, it detached, and there was another satellite above
Yes.
Mars with a bunch of these, And probably what it's going to do is refuel, and then anything that needs to go back,
Yes.
it just latches on and goes back to Earth.
And yeah, so the goal is to exactly what you said, is to build these orbiting satellites that will hold these nacelles, basically, to be able to be attached to whatever kind of cargo you need to get where it needs to go. And honestly, I do think this is how they are going to I think I brought this up before. Like, this kind of technology is going to be highly managed, probably by the Space Force. Like,
Yes.
this is probably, like, everybody else is going to be like commercial, NASA, whatever, but this kind of shit is going to be the domain of the Space Force, basically.
To a degree. I
Yeah.
mean, one of the things that's just kind of gives that away in,
Yeah.
in a sense, not that you don't have private companies that have access to things like this,
Yeah,
is it's nuclear,
it's nuclear,
which
that's
means
the problem.
the government's basically going to be involved regardless of how you feel about it.
Yeah. Like, they're just going to be, and I think that's why it's designed that way, is so the government can basically manage these nuclear nacelles.
Yeah.
But so that's all happening. It's going to be amazing. We're going to Mars. And let's talk about Katy Perry and Blue Origin. So here, let me just pull this up. And this is just straight up from, this is just from some pop Twitter page, and they're all losing it. So she's up there. She's like announcing her new album or tour or whatever, Lifetime's tour set. Yeah, there you go. And they're up there in space, and they're losing it. They're having a good time. Yeah. Hold on, let me pull this one up. Because I think one actually shows them.
Wow. 1, 2, 3.
Look at that. That's really dramatic. Having these kind of high quality shots.
Right?
Flynn, I gotcha. I gotcha, Flynn. Ooh, proud of you. And have it down. Oh, the moon. You guys, I will have to tell you, look at the moon. That's amazing. Wow, look at the blue line. Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Now it's time.
Mm-mm.
Oh my
Space
gosh.
Anyway, so as you know, some people would think it's silly. It's a publicity stunt, but the fact is, it's like one of the best possible publicity stunts you could have to advertise space travel, in my opinion.
It is silly. It is a publicity stunt,
But that's the
point.
yeah.
And one of the things that it's pushing is like, these are not typically people you would associate with space, and it's like, space is here.
Space is, you
yeah.
can go there
Yeah.
now. I mean, the rich people can, but the fact is, like, people who would not be talking about any of this or have any interest at all are now going to be talking about this kind of stuff, and that is the point of it.
Yeah.
Now my mom is going to be asking me about how she saw Katy Perry up in a space station, and she's going to be all curious about what's going on in space now, when she had no interest in before. You know what I mean? It's to get people on board with this, and I really do think it worked, because you have everybody talking about this in particular.
Yeah.
In fact, it kind of pisses off the UFO community a little bit, because this is getting more attention than they are, which is just a little funny. It's just a little funny. But let's check this out. So I think this is going to be Blue Origin's orbital reef. It's going to be
That is the concept design.
it's a concept design.
right there for
Yeah.
their orbital space station.
Yeah.
And basically, right now they're doing life-size testing on Earth. So they have set up basically that space station
Yeah.
here on Earth, and they have people do walkthroughs
Yeah.
to make sure that all of the systems work, all of the how they planned it out makes sense.
Yeah.
They're doing all of that testing now, and they're also going to be I don't know exactly how they set it up. I believe it's in a big plane. They tested under microgravity as well.
Yeah.
and they try and make sure that, again, all of these things work and make sense up in space. And then once they get the go ahead, that's when they will start the very time consuming and money consuming build of that
Yeah.
space station.
But the thing is, that's Blue Origin's space station.
Yes.
That is a commercial. That's not like an addition to the International Space Station. That's not a satellite. That is a private company's space station, orbital space station.
Yeah. I mean, normally, before that, you just hear about that in a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, this is science fiction
Yeah.
becoming reality. You would only hear about a private space station in a science fiction novel.
Yeah.
That'd be the only possibility.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's wild to see it. And I'm so glad that Jared Isaacman is now leading NASA, and we're going to see more and more stuff like this.
Yeah.
It's just going to be profound to witness.
Yeah. And, the thing is, with the timelines that
Yeah.
are being set, it's also not super far away. Like,
No.
all of it, normally, if NASA was to do these things, the timelines would be 20 years.
And that was the point that
Yeah.
Jared was trying to make, is that your time, like the Artemis program was started in like 2017 with the goal of getting to starting a lunar base. I forget exactly what it was, but their end mission was supposed to be completed by 2024, and they're already a year off.
Yeah, they're already off. And, like Trump has, like you said, he's basically come out and he's like, you got like 4 years. Like,
Yeah,
like,
to do
so,
this.
and not only, but you got to realize that's not only NASA.
Yeah.
That's also all of these private, corporations. Like,
Yeah.
they're not that they have the same timelines, but like, they're also going to want to get there first or fast.
Yeah,
So, because it takes a lot of money to keep these programs going.
Right.
So actually, the faster they go, a lot of the time, you can save money.
you can
that
save
way.
money, and you can make it faster by kind of basically doing it through the private sector.
Yeah.
But I think that is where we will wrap that episode up. Please like and subscribe, guys. See you next time.